Has Donald Trump officially bought and paid for the soul of the Republican Party in Georgia? The results from Tuesday's primary night are in, and they deliver a resounding, and perhaps terrifying, message. The MAGA brand doesn't just dominate, it conquers. Before we continue, if you want to stay on top of everything happening in U.S. politics, hit that subscribe button right now and leave a like. It really helps this channel grow. The Georgia GOP, once a bastion of traditional conservatism, has undergone a radical transformation. For years, the old guard, those who weathered the storm of the Trump era and held on to their positions, have finally fallen. They've been replaced by a new breed of candidates, those who have pledged unwavering allegiance to Donald Trump, and Tuesday's results show that allegiance is the golden ticket to victory in the Peach State. It's a near-complete takeover, a stark illustration of the seismic shift that has occurred within the party, not just in Georgia, but across the nation. We saw this play out on multiple fronts. In the race for lieutenant governor, Trump-backed Burt Jones secured his spot in the gubernatorial runoff. He's not alone. Billionaire Rick Jackson, who vowed to govern with a Southern tone like the former president, also advanced. In the crucial Senate primary, Representative Mike Collins, a self-proclaimed MAGA ally, cruised to a runoff. And in the House, candidates like Jim Kingston, Houston Gaines, and Clay Fuller didn't just win, they won by wide margins, all with the undeniable boost of Trump's coveted endorsement. But perhaps the most telling victories are the defeats. The very figures who stood as bulwarks against the MAGA onslaught, the ones who refused to deny the 2020 election was stolen, have been decisively rejected by Republican voters. Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, Attorney General Chris Carr, and Gabriel Sterling, a key aide to Raffensperger, all lost their primary battles. These were the faces of defiance, the symbols of a different kind of republicanism, and they have been relegated to the past, their political careers seemingly casualties of Trump's enduring influence. This isn't just a Georgia phenomenon, it's a national trend, but the Peach State's importance as a swing state makes these results particularly significant. They offer the clearest sign yet that a substantial portion of Republican voters want their political future inextricably tied to Trump-style politics and messaging. This shift could very well shape elections not just in 2024, but for years to come, in 2026 and beyond. As Georgia Republican Party Chair Josh McCoon, a staunch Trump ally, put it, success in a Georgia Republican primary today hinges on either securing the president's endorsement or convincingly arguing that you are a Trump-aligned candidate. The old guard, as described by seasoned Republican strategists, are becoming relics of the past. It's not about their character, but about their inability to adapt to the current political climate, a climate shaped by Trump's populist fervor. Even outgoing Governor Brian Kemp and the fallen AG and Secretary of State were able to hold off these challenges in 2022, delaying this complete MAGA takeover. But this cycle, the shift is undeniable, and it's being fueled by more than just ideology. The Republican Party is increasingly viewing alignment with Trump not just as an ideological test, but as a practical necessity. Why? Because Donald Trump's political operation sits on a war chest of roughly $300 million. For candidates in key swing states like Georgia, that kind of financial backing is an undeniable advantage. As one anonymous Georgia-based Republican strategist candidly stated, choosing MAGA-aligned candidates means accessing that huge war chest, which can then be utilized to support those he favors. Across the board, from the Senate to the governor's mansion, the winning GOP candidates embraced Trump's brand. The gubernatorial race, expensive and heated, quickly devolved into a contest over who could best embody the MAGA mantle. In the Senate primary, even though Trump stayed out of it initially, candidates rushed to align themselves with his movement. Mike Collins, a staunch ally, proudly declared himself unapologetically pro-God, pro-Trump, pro-Second Amendment, pro-strong military. Even Derek Dooley, Kemp's hand-picked candidate, despite not having Trump's explicit endorsement, leaned into the outsider persona, echoing Trump's playbook with a Georgia-first pitch. His campaign made it clear they weren't alienating Trump, and that Dooley supported the president's agenda. This is a high-stakes gamble. In 2022, the GOP paid a price for nominating hardline MAGA candidates nationally, and the specter of those losses, like Herschel Walker's Senate bid in Georgia, looms large. This cycle, with concerns about the economy and global instability, Democrats are more than eager to tie every Republican candidate directly to Donald Trump, hoping his lower approval ratings will be a drag on the party. The Georgia Democratic Party is already framing the Senate runoff as a situation where both candidates will be terminally inseparable from Trump. Despite these potential pitfalls, Tuesday's results are a stark reminder of Trump's continued dominance in shaping who can win statewide primaries. It's not just Georgia. We've seen similar scenarios unfold across the country, Representative Thomas Massie in Kentucky losing to a Trump-endorsed challenger, Senator Bill Cassidy ousted by Trump's favored candidate in Louisiana, and Indiana Republicans who opposed Trump being vanquished. Even in Texas, Trump finally backed Ken Paxton for Senate after deeming John Cornyn an insufficient ally. As Republican strategist Chip Lake observes, the party has fundamentally changed, looking nothing like it did a decade or even 15 years ago. It's a party with a sharper focus, a greater willingness to fight, and a clear leader in Donald Trump. Brad Raffensperger, who became a symbol of defiance against the president, acknowledged that conspiracies about the 2020 election, despite the lack of evidence, played a role in his defeat. He may not have directly blamed Trump's grip on the party, but his words speak volumes about the changing electorate. He called it a changing of the guard, a turning over of a new leaf. But for those watching from the sidelines, it looks like more than just a changing of the guard, it looks like a complete hostile takeover. So what do you think about this seismic shift in Georgia politics? Is this the future of the Republican Party, or a temporary phenomenon? Drop your opinion in the comments below. I read every single one. The message from Georgia is loud and clear. Donald Trump's influence is not waning, it's cementing itself as the primary driving force within the Republican Party, and those who embrace it, win.